And she said something very meaningful in that conversation. I was very impressed with her response. She said, yes, but the people that the SEC Inspector General report identifies as having been the cause of this catastrophe, who didn't do what they were supposed to do, I want to see them punished. And she said it very forcefully, and I looked at her and I thought, those are the exact right things to say. This is wonderful. And I felt very reassured by that conversation and meeting with her.
So you're cautiously optimistic about Mary. You think she's going to turn things around over there. But you talked about a cleansing. Get the people out, get new people in. Is that happening?
It is. Of the 5 senior staff that testified the same day that I did, that followed me into the congressional hearing room, I would say that the top 2 didn't last a week and were replaced. A third has made plans to leave the agency. I suspect by summer that all 5 that appeared after me and only admitted to their names and never cooperated with Congress and never answered their questions, I suspect that those 5 senior staff will not be with the agency after the Inspector General's report comes out. That's my guess. I could be wrong. Maybe 1 or 2 of them stay, but maybe they don't. I don't think that they'll make it. I hope not.
You and I joked a little bit before about the fact that really to end this thing, you've got to have the insiders from Wall Street. And the government's trying to get those, but you've got to pay them. You've got to offer them bonuses. You've got to offer them incentives, and you've got to bring them into this because they were right there. They were the foxes in the hen house. They know everything. They know all the skeletons in the closet. You've got to bring them in,
yes.
And that's how you put an end to this, correct?
If you bring in whistleblowers from the industry and compensate them correctly and you put them on the SEC staff, or you just have a whistleblower program that's effective, the street will be cleaned up in no time. Time to take out the trash, and they'll do it very quickly and very effectively. And I think that that's what needs to be done. We can't tolerate institutionalized theft of American wealth, and it can't continue unabated. We have to put an end to white-collar crime. We'll never end it completely, but we can certainly mitigate it and keep it under control to a reasonably low level, and we're not there yet. And the best way to do that is to compensate whistleblowers to come forward with the inner secrets from those Wall Street firms and those money center banks that have led us to this tragedy, to the brink of financial collapse, and come in with the smoking gun emails, come in with the marketing documents that are totally falsified, come in with the right formula, with the real formulas that they're really using, and come in with the dirty secrets and air that in a very public way and bring the villains to justice. And right now there's no accountability. No one's holding these people accountable for what they did to our treasury, to our nation's balance sheet, to my children's and your children's future. No one's holding these people accountable, and that needs to be done. Those people took out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars as individuals. If you're clawing back against the Madoff investors who were the true victims in this case, and you're not clawing back the Wall Street, money center bank CEOs' money and the bonuses that they took, how fair is that?
Well, it isn't. It's absurd, but this gets back to the fact that, you're trying to make a difference in this country. You're trying to say, look, almost like Charlie Munger, we've got to surgically remove these conflicts of interest. Same thing Dr. Anna Schwartz was talking about, that there's these self-interests and these conflicts that are there. And how then, you're talking about a third party earlier when we were talking, but how do you politically rise up and vote and basically end this thing at the ballot box? How's this going to end? How do you clean this up?
I think term limits is one thing we can do. Another thing we can do is see that a third party forms. We have 300 million people. We have 300 million chances to win. Someone's going to come forward. I don't know who. I don't know when. I just hope it's soon. And form a new party, because clearly the Republican Party has basically blown itself up. They've lost confidence of the American public. And so there's room for a third party to rise from the ashes. You need a two-party system to keep. One-party rule doesn't work. And I don't know what form that party's going to take. I don't know who's going to lead it, but something's going to happen. I mean, the anger is there. People are beyond angry at this point. They're looking for answers. Someone's going to come forward. This is a great country. Mm-hmm. At moments of crisis, great people have emerged. I don't know who they are. If they're out there listening in your audience, I urge them to come forward. We need a hero. We need someone to follow. Someone has to form this party. I don't know who. Anybody's a likely candidate, and we'll see it. And maybe it's going to be a woman. Maybe it's going to be someone from an even smaller minority. Someone's going to come forward. I don't know who. I'm just very confident that this country has the right stuff. We have the right people. And in times of crisis, people of greatness have stepped forward, and we're going to see that. I don't know how soon, but hopefully very soon.
Is it going to take almost, and then we'll close, Andrew Jackson had this big fight against the U.S. bank, and they were trying to get rid of this old central bank. And as you said, somebody came forward. Somebody stepped up, and you do have to surgically remove this. It's like a cancer, and they're so prevalent. You have all these bankers and their cronies are all throughout the government and all the high-powered positions. And when you stand back and you look at it, you almost say, you don't want to say it's hopeless. I mean, that's not true. But it's going to take like a revolution, like you said. It's going to take at the ballot box. It's a total change of mentality where people say we need somebody we can trust, and we need somebody to rise up and say, here's the people I want elected underneath me. Let's get all this bad poison out of here, and we'll reform this system.
When both parties become like they're the same, and you can't differentiate, and the differences between them are so small,
right,
and they treat the Wall Street chieftains and the money center bank CEOs the same, then you're looking for answers and you're angry. And that's why I say there's room for a third party, and you need a revolution at the ballot box. And you have an angry elect until the tinder is dry. And there's lots of tinder out there, and all you need is a spark. And then you're going to see a third party arise from nowhere, and you're going to get a new party, and it's probably going to be something that runs on balanced budget platform, that we live within our means, and that we get government under control. And if we pay government to do something, we get our money's worth. I don't mind government. I like government. I want a strong government that does their job that I pay them for. And you have the SEC, 3,500 people, not doing their jobs, wasting $900 million of taxpayers' money a year. We didn't need them. That was a waste of $900 million. So I'd like to see, I want to get my money's worth. When I have regulators at the FDA approving bad drugs because they're hostage to industry and captive to industry and in bed with industry,
right,
I don't need to be paying the FDA. If they're not giving me any protection, I don't need to be paying them to protect me.
Right.
So if I'm paying a government agency, I want them doing their jobs. I don't want them captive to industry. And I want them highly compensated. I want them on a bonus system. I want them going after the bad guys. So I don't mind government. I'm a friend of government. But I just want my value. I want a value proposition from government, and right now I'm not getting it. I'm getting the same old, same old. And I voted, I'm independent. I'm not a member of either party.
And you said earlier you're apolitical, and it doesn't sound like you see a big difference in the D's and R's. You kind of look at them like I do. It's just sort of floating around in this abyss that's really political interest higher than that. That you're not really working for the people.
I'm a member of I'm a member of this nation's majority party, which is the Independent Party. I'm an independent voter. I voted for both parties' candidates. I picked best a candidate in this past election. I voted for change I could believe in, and so far I can't tell the difference between the Republican administration and the Democratic one, and I voted for change. And I haven't received change, and I'm disappointed, but I know it's still early, and I'm very optimistic. I thought that President Obama ran a wonderful campaign, and now we have to see if he's made of the right stuff as a leader. He proved he can campaign, and now he has to prove he can lead, and that's something that's earned over time, and it's still early. I'm not impressed with Tim Geithner at all. I thought he was part of the problem, and I don't think he's part of the solution. He was there as president of the New York Fed, not regulating the money center banks, and they've all collapsed pretty much, except with the exception of J.P. Morgan and one or two others. But the rest have pretty much collapsed, so he didn't do his job, and now he's Treasury Secretary, supposed to clean up the mess. I don't think so. And he didn't pay his taxes, so I know a lot about his ethics already, and I don't like what I see, so I don't think he's part of the answer. If you had three stooges running this nation's economic policy under the President Bush, and their names were Paulson, Bernanke, and Geithner, and that two of the three stooges are now running the economic policy for the current administration, and that's not change I can believe in. I sort of want new faces there. I would say that I want someone with an independent outlook that's not part of the problem to come in and clean up the mess, because these guys are protecting the old boys network. They're not making the changes. They're not holding people accountable. And so I'd like to see people held accountable. I'd like to see people punished. And I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing same old, same old. I'm not seeing the change we can believe in.
Very quickly, you had your big background in the military, and just we've already insulted a few government agencies here, but one more. Janet Napolitano, obviously Homeland Security, has tried to defend this report, but it came out and basically said people like you are a danger, that you could be right-wing extremists, that you're a possible terrorist threat to this country. My spouse's father did 3 tours of duty in Vietnam. First, when they were consultants on the ground, there were only a few of them, okay? And on that 3rd tour, he got captured, and he had his back broken in a prisoner of war camp. And I'll sit across from you and tell you, these are some of the most faithful, loyal people to this country that there are. And I was outraged by that. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
I was beyond insulted. I was very angry. I've served with these men and women, and here are men and women that turn over a blank check to their nation, payable with their life. And they serve their time in places of great danger. And they don't know if they're going to come home or not. They put it all on the line, and to have that report be issued and calling them a threat, I was insulted, and I just, it makes me want to tear up. I just think very highly of the men and women. These are America's best foot forward that we're putting forward. These are our blood and treasure that we're risking in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, Harry, I won't take any more of your time. I think, you're a superstar in that, but thank you for your time. This is Eric King. Thanks again to Harry Markopolos for joining us for that segment. If you go to kingworldnews.com's homepage, you will see a broadcast section there, and there's an interview with Jim Puplava of Puplava Financial Group. And also we have Dr. Michael Berry, who lectures at the Federal Reserve twice a year. And there's also John Nadler, senior analyst at kitco.com. So enjoy those interviews, and thank you.